This show is brought to you by the Genesis Communications Network, a world leader in talk radio since 1998. Visit GCNlive.com today.
Welcome again for tuning in to the Naseema Omer Show. My name is Naseema. I am your host today. I have another fantastic episode planned for you today on the topic of pH levels in the body. Before we get started, I want to give you some information. Today, we will be taking live calls during the show, an hour-long program. And if you have questions related to the program, please call 866-582-9933. And I'll give that number out again when we are ready to take questions, which will be in our third section of the 4 in today's show. You can always enjoy the program by listening to it at your own time, sending the file, sharing it with the friends and family by going to archive podcast on NaseemaOmer.com or directly to GCNlive.com. That's Genesis Communication Network Live.com. It's not a very sunny day here in our GCN headquarters area, Burnsville, Minnesota, but it's still a very nice, pleasant day with a little drizzle here and there. And the topic today is pH levels in our body. I'm sure many of you have heard, it's not good to have too much acid in your body or acidic levels in your body. Eat more alkaline fruits and vegetables and foods. Soak in Epsom salt. Don't soak in Epsom salt. Soak in baking soda. Maybe make your body a little more alkaline. I'm going to talk about all those different types of topics today related to pH levels based on the thoughts of expert registered pharmacist Ben Fuchs, who I have interviewed on the Naseema Omer Show many, many times previously. Pharmacist Ben Fuchs also has his own radio programming Monday through Friday, produced by the Genesis Communication Network called The Bright Side. And you can get that information and reach to his archive and podcast also by going to GCNlive.com. Hello, Pharmacist Ben.
Hey, Naseema. Good to talk to you. I don't think I've seen you for a little bit.
Yeah.
Nice spending some time with you a couple weeks ago in Minnesota.
Yes, it was so nice. Next time you do need to extend your stay a little bit so we have time to kind of do a little bit of sightseeing or even go fishing a little bit on that lake.
I agree. You fish? Are you a fisher lady?
I did learn how to fish from Ted. Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah. I like that.
I find it a little gross to fish, to be perfectly honest.
I only want to fish if it's fish I can keep. I feel sorry for the fish that we have to catch and throw them back. I'm like, what's
terrible?
The point?
What's the point? All you're going to do is make the fish late for something.
Yes, but how do you know the fish doesn't feel anything?
I know, and that poor fish, he comes out and he has to go, what if he has a job interview or something? He's like, you're not going to believe it.
Exactly, or an important date or dates, it's the season.
I know, what do we got to make trouble for the little fishies?
Exactly. I mean, granted, they're whatever, heals fairly quickly, but that hook, I'm sure hurts.
One time I took my little girl fishing one time, when she was a little girl. And she caught this fish, and the fish started flopping around, and she started crying hysterically. I thought she'd be permanently traumatized. And then we got to eating the fish, and she was all smiles after that, man. She loved that trout. Holy cow.
Oh,
so she became a fan of fishing after that. But I personally, I don't like fishing.
Yeah.
You're not gonna catch me out there. And plus, it seems so boring. What's the...
Yeah, it can be tranquil and relaxing and serene if the lake or the area where you're fishing is not too busy with lots of speedboats and things happening. But you're right, I cannot fish all day. An hour is plenty for me. But another kind of fishing, deep sea fishing,
that's a little more
is a little interesting, yes. And you have to have experts with you, and then you have
and then you're in the ocean, and
you're in the ocean, and oh my gosh, you're in different waters. And but I tell you what,
near the ocean. Didn't you grow up near the ocean?
I did. Yeah, the Arabian Gulf, But fishing in those seas and catching salmon, we've done that in Alaska too. It's cheaper to buy good fish in the store than go on a fishing expedition and get that fish sent back to you. Let me tell you that. Very spendy.
But you got to be careful about fish now with farm fish and everything.
Exactly.
Fish can be pretty toxic these days.
Yes. Today we're going to talk about pH levels in the body, etc. And I wanted to really get your thoughts on it. There's so much controversy.
There's only controversy among people who don't understand it, because it's pretty clear to scientists and people who understand pH and what it means.
Okay, so let's begin with, what is potential hydrogen? What is
potential
pH?
hydrogen? Very good. Had you been doing some research there?
A little bit.
Well, hydrogen represents energy. Mm-hmm. And pH is a measurement of how much energy is in a water-based system. First of all, there's only pH. pH requires water, so only when you have a water system will you have a pH measurement. And the pH scale goes from 0 to 14, where 0 is considered to be very, very, very acidic, and 14 is considered to be very, very non-acidic. The technical term for non-acidic is, as you know, alkaline. Mm-hmm. So the pH scale is the acid to alkaline scale, 0 to 14 scale. Sometimes people will say alkaline, they'll call it basic or base. So you'll hear acid-base reactions, but it's really the same thing, base, alkaline.
Every time I hear that, it reminds me of litmus papers and my time in the lab in school.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And with litmus papers, they would call them base. They'd say acid-base, but it basically means alkaline. And the pH scale goes from 0 to 14. 7 is smack dab in the middle, and that's considered neutral. So water is the quintessential, iconic example of a neutral solution. Should be anyway. It isn't always. But ideally, water will have a pH of 7. Below 7, 0 to 7 is considered acid, and 7 to 14 is considered alkaline. Now, here's the thing. Acid, as you said, is potential hydrogen. It's the amount of free hydrogen that's in a water solution, and what it really means, for the layman, simplistically speaking, is high energy. Acid represents high electrical energy. Alkaline represents negative energy. So alkaline has a sucking effect, and acid has a pushing effect. So you can think of an acid solution as pushing electrical energy and an alkaline solution as sucking up electrical energy. And this is why...
That's a great way you put it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. This is why acid and alkaline are so important for the body. Because in the body, in the fluids of the body, that is, you want to have an alkaline state. You want the body to be sucking energy up. You don't want it to have excess energy. You want it to be vacuuming energy so it can suck energy up. Under acidic conditions, it doesn't do that. It spews out energy. It's got an excess of electrical energy, so it won't suck energy up. You follow what I'm saying?
Yes.
So you want the fluids to be in a sucking state, a negative voltage state, or a negative energy state. So it has an ability to absorb more electrical energy. That doesn't happen when we're acidic. When we're acidic, we have an excess amount of electrical energy, and that's not a good situation for the body to be in. And acidity is associated with disease, and it's associated with toxicity. But here's where the misunderstandings come in. You see, acid is not a problem. It's a sign of a problem. It's a signal of a problem. It's a symptom of a problem. So all this silliness about making the body more alkaline really misunderstands what alkaline and acid is all about. Acidity isn't necessarily a problem as much as it represents a sign of a problem. When cells die, they release acids. When toxicity accumulates in the body tends to be more acidic. So acidity means, when you have too much acidity in the body, it means you have a biochemical problem that's showing up or is being measured as excess acid. But if you just try to correct the acid without correcting the problem that's causing the cells to die, or without correcting the toxicity problem, you're still going to have issues.
Right. Ben, let me slow you down just a tad over there. So different secretions of our body, different parts of our body have different pH levels in fluids, correct? Like saliva has certain things, the hydrochloric or whatever acid in our stomach.
When we're talking about the fluids, though, we're basically talking about the blood, not the other fluids. We're talking about the blood. So you want the blood to have a pH of around 7.4. Actually, it's 7.38. Which is, as you know, now that we talked about the pH scale, slightly alkaline. So neutral is 7, alkaline is 7 to 14. 14 is extremely alkaline. 7.38 or 7.4, which is what the blood has to be at 7.38, is said to be slightly alkaline. That slight amount of alkalinity is what's required for the blood to be able to suck up electrical energy. Now, when we get sick, the blood pH can go down to like 6-ish or even lower. Sometimes it can go into the 5s. Even if you're really, really sick, it can go into like 4.8 or 4.9.
Now, how do you know? How do you test it?
You can do a blood test. You can do it at home. You can do a saliva or urine test. Now, saliva and urine aren't great ways of testing because they're not exact measurements of what's happening in the blood, and it's really the blood that counts, not the saliva. The saliva pH is only useful for measurement. It's not useful for actual effects because it's the blood that we really need to be concerned about, not the saliva or the urine. But you can't really test your blood, so you got to test. It's much easier to test your saliva and test your urine. Do you follow what I'm saying?
Yes.
If you're in the hospital, they'll test your blood. If you're really sick, they'll test your blood. But at home, you can't really do a blood test, but you can do a saliva test and a urine test much greater facility, with much greater ease. But it's really the blood that counts. It's not the saliva that counts, and it's not the urine that counts. It's the blood that counts. Follow what I'm saying? So you can test your saliva, and that'll give you a rough approximation of what's happening in the blood, or you can test your urine, and that'll give you a rough approximation of what's happening in the blood. But it's not the urine pH or the saliva pH that counts or that matters. It's the blood pH. So you said earlier, did that answer your question? I don't want to move on.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. Please, yes.
Okay. So you said earlier about how we eat foods, and you hear about eating alkaline foods and not eating acid foods. And it turns out that foods like sugar and processed foods tend to be more acid-forming than more natural foods, particularly vegetables. But you're not going to really affect your pH of your blood all that much by the foods you eat. This is a complete misunderstanding of how the digestive system works. You know, you and I talked about the digestive system a couple weeks ago, or a couple months ago, whenever I was on the program last, and we said how the digestive system is doing all of this processing. It's grinding up foods, and it's changing their chemical constituency, and it's making them easier for the body to absorb through the intestine. There's all this stuff happening with foods before those foods get into the blood. So it's not like you're going to eat a food and it's all of a sudden going to become it's going to be acid, and it's going to enter into the blood as is. It's going to be manipulated. So, for example, you take a food like let's say you take a food like lemon, right? Lemon seems pretty acidic, doesn't it?
Yes. Oh, I love lemons.
I love lemons too.
I love the smell of lemons,
the look of lemons, everything.
Jinx, we said it at the same time. I hear that fantastic music again. You know what that means, Ben?
Yes, we'll take a break and we'll continue.
Thank you. Come back to hear more on acidity and alkalinity in the body.
There's nothing more enticing and intoxicating than the finest meat cooking on an open flame. Freeze-dried meat from newharvest.com is U.S. grown, 100% all-natural with no extra fillers. Just grass-fed beef and free-range chicken guaranteed to stay fresh and delicious. Add New Harvest freeze-dried meats to your current food storage. You'll buy direct from the factory, not a third party, ensuring the best price and the highest quality. See all our products at newharvestfoods.com. That's newharvestfoods.com.
My computer is so slow, it's making me crazy.
I used to have that problem.
Did you quit using a computer, or did you buy a new one?
No, I called Geeks On Site. They made an appointment to visit my home and showed up the same day.
You mean they didn't ask you to bring your computer to a shop? That's what happened when I called a support company.
Geeks On Site can go to your home or business or even repair your computer online. They have 24/7 emergency service.
If you are having problems with your PC or Mac, call Geeks On Site, 1-800-591-1682. Our friendly certified computer repair experts are available 24/7. Call now for a free diagnosis. 1-800-591-1682. Data recovery, virus removal, and maintenance for all laptops, desktops, printers, and networks. That's Geeks on Site for friendly certified computer repair experts, available 24/7 over the phone or in your home or business. Just call 1-800-591-1682. That's 1-800-591-1682. 1-800-591-1682.
Would you like to receive $250 to $1,000 cash per day? Go to richmoneyrich.com. No website, no selling, no explaining. Just take these simple 2 steps and go to richmoneyrich.com. You can be generating cash in the next 24 hours simply using this system. Good news is, it runs on 100% autopilot, and you don't need any experience to get started. It's easy. Get your share of easy riches and go to richmoneyrich.com. That's richmoneyrich.com. Go now. Brought to you by the Conservative Investor. Current returns not indicative of future results.
We use mobile devices right against our bodies every day, but growing scientific evidence has emerged showing serious health risks associated with exposure to EMF radiation emitted from these devices. The solution is Defender Shield, the most effective mobile radiation shielding ever developed. Defender Shield blocks virtually 100% of EMF radiation from cell phones, tablets, and laptops, and starts at just $64.99. Buy now at DefenderShield.com. For 10% off, use promo code GCN. DefenderShield.com, the worldwide leader in mobile radiation shielding.
For over 5 years, you've been hearing about the Berkey Guy, so you may know a few things about him. For example, you are well aware of the superior quality and effectiveness of Berkey water filters and accessories. But did you know the Berkeys have had independent lab tests done to prove just how effective they are? It's true, and he can email you the test results. Just visit GoBerkey.com. You may also know that the Berkey Guy has helped tens of thousands of people get better prepared. Now here's something you may not know. GoBerkey.com has amazing specials and deals all the time on a wide variety of survival and preparedness products. Most ready to ship same day. Visit the Berkey Guy at GoBerkey.com and be sure to click the red Products on Sale Now button. You can always call toll-free 877-886-3653. Again, that's 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com, home of the Berkey Guy.
This is an alert. If your business or church is building this year, you're about to pay more than you should. This could mean thousands of dollars more for your office, retail space, church, or warehouse. A General Steel building can save you as much as half the cost and time of similar conventional construction. And we're offering rebates of up to $20,000 to help you build today. Call General Steel for free information that could save you thousands. Call 866-91-STEEL. 866-91-STEEL. 866-91-STEEL.
Welcome back to the second section of the 1 hour show, the Naseema Omer Show. I am Naseema, your host, and I am interviewing pharmacist Ben Fuchs today on the topic of pH levels in our body. And what does it mean, how to balance it, and what does it signal? We will be taking questions on today's show. Please call 866-582-9933 on today's topic. Any question you have for Pharmacist Ben on that, he'd love to answer your question so that many listeners benefit from the answers as well. Just before we went on break, we were talking about saliva and urine tests and
lemons.
And lemons, that's right. Lemons, yes.
So lemons seem acidic, right? There's not much. The pH of a lemon is probably about 2 in the 2s, or maybe, well, probably in 2s or low 3s. But when you eat a lemon, it gets converted through the digestive system, through the stomach and the intestine. By the time the lemon gets into the blood, or the components of the lemon get into the blood, it's now alkaline. The minerals in the lemon have become alkaline. So you can't tell about the acidity or alkalinity of a food based on the pH of that food because of the conversions that occur in the body. So this idea of eating alkaline and eating acid, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. There are foods, however, that can have a net acidic effect, even if they're not acidic, because they're toxic. And the toxicity is really where you run into a problem. It's the toxicity of the food that you want to be concerned with. So you'll hear things like proteins and meats are acid forming and vegetables are alkaline forming. That's a very tiny amount of a very small cause of the pH of the blood. The pH of the blood is controlled by several major factors. Number one, toxicity and cell death. Toxicity and cell death will lower the pH of the blood and make you more acidic. The second major factor that controls the pH of the blood is electrolytes. That is potassium and calcium and sodium, but all of these have an alkalinizing effect on the blood. So if you're deficient in electrolytes, and many of us are, your blood will have a tendency to run acidic. Probably the most important factor when it comes to alkalinizing the blood or acidification of the blood is oxygen. In fact, that's really the way the blood is supposed to stay alkaline, slightly alkaline, is from breathing. Oxygen has a net alkaline effect, and carbon dioxide, which is what we exhale, has a net acidifying effect. And I would venture to say that's probably the most important reason why people run acidic versus alkaline. It's one of the most important benefits for deep breathing, making sure you're oxygenating correctly. If you're really interested in alkaline, that's probably the first thing to do. The first thing to do is to breathe. And then just say real quickly, there's also the pancreas, which makes sodium bicarbonate, which is a major alkalinizing force. Probably the second most important alkalinizing agent after oxygen is sodium bicarbonate. And folks who are dealing with pancreatic issues, i.e. diabetes or pancreatitis or digestive health problems, can conceivably have sodium bicarbonate deficiencies, which will contribute to acidity.
I see. So, Ben, just real quick, if we can talk a little bit, just maybe a minute or so, about breathing, because shallow breathing is not the same as deep breathing for both inhalations and exhalations. And the more you practice it, the better you get at it. Not that you want to be very lightheaded and do deep breaths and deep exhales consistently for a long time, but many of us in our busy lifestyles, we don't even pay attention to our breathing. And most
of us don't.
What's your tip on good practice for breathing?
Oh, there's so many things. There are so many reasons why breathing is important. It's interesting because we're always obsessed with formulas and with supplements and with diets and all of these, relatively complex ways of taking care of our health. And the simplest little thing, like breathing correctly, sometimes gets missed. So here's the thing. Oxygen is very alkalinizing. That's first of all. So when we deep breathe, when we breathe correctly and oxygenate our bodies correctly, not only will we be getting alkalinity from the oxygen, but we'll also be getting alkalinity by blowing off the carbon dioxide, because carbon dioxide is acidic. So you're getting it from two directions. You're blowing off acid, decreasing the amount of acidity, and you're increasing the amount of alkalinity by oxygenating. Also, toxicity comes out when you exhale. Breathing, or exhalation, the exhalation phase of the breathing process, is detoxifying. In fact, it's one of the best ways to detoxify. And, again, we have all these complicated and fancy schmancy formulas for detox and detox strategies and way to detoxify. We sometimes miss the simplest little way of cleaning our body out, and that's exhaling. So it's a combination of inhaling and exhaling, and you always want to exhale a little bit more than you inhale. You always want to. It's better to give than it is to receive. That's the way I remember it. You always want to exhale slightly more than you inhale. And there's a couple of very interesting reasons for that, and that's because one of which is because carbon dioxide is actually kind of important stuff. So you want to keep your. Okay, we'll take a break.
Yep, we'll take a break. Stay tuned, everyone. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about sodium bicarbonate.
Vaping enthusiasts, head to VaporPalace.com. Choose from over 150 flavors and a selection of exclusive private stock vapor liquid you won't find anywhere else. New flavors are added every month, and our customer service is unbeatable. VaporPalace.com offers 15% off all vapor liquid on Fridays and get 10% off every order with coupon code VAPOR10 at checkout. Combine the codes on Fridays for 25% off. The ultimate destination for the vaping enthusiast. VaporPalace.com.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
Did you know a dirty CPAP system can make you sick? If you knew what could be growing in your mask and hose, you might not sleep so well. But now, SoClean.com has released the world's first and only automated CPAP cleaner and sanitizer. It kills 99.9% of all CPAP germs, and it's completely hands-free. For a limited time, you can try SoClean risk-free for 30 days. Just call 1-800-900-0684.
SoClean changed the CPAP experience for the better. My health has improved. It's simple to use, and I'm not worried about infections.
SoClean destroys CPAP bacteria, viruses, and germs with no hassle. Never have to clean your machine by hand again. There's no water, chemicals, or disassembly. Just pop in your mask, close the lid, and presto, your CPAP system is clean and fresh in minutes. Call SoClean.com to try it risk-free at home for 30 days. This is a limited-time offer, only available by calling 1-800-900-0684. That's 1-800-900-0684.
Hi, I'm Dr. Joel Wallach, veterinarian and naturopathic physician. The Dead Doctors Don't Lie guy with an important message. Take charge of your health. Do not continue to blindly follow the system that has failed us all. I appreciate GCN listeners because you're open-minded and intelligent. If our system is so great, why is it that the United States, the USA, ranks nearly 60th worldwide in longevity and number 1 in obesity? All the while we spend more money than all the other countries combined annually on unnecessary health care procedures and toxic drugs. It doesn't take much to get on track. Not with the government or pharmaceutical companies, but rather you in control of your own health with a basic understanding of nutrition and supplementation. FDI Longevity has the finest quality health, sports, and energy supplements available. GCN listeners are invited to join our team of people who want to stay healthy well into old age. We are currently looking for specialists to represent FDI Longevity and Save America. To buy products at wholesale prices or join our business team, go to GCNteam.com. That's GCNteam.com. Support GCN. Get healthy.
Are you sneezing, coughing, and aching? Do you have a sore throat, a fever, or the sniffles? There's no reason to be sick this cold and flu season with immune system support from Supernatural Silver. Supernatural Silver can give your body the help it needs to fight off harmful pathogens without hurting beneficial gut flora and without leaving behind resistant bacteria. Antibiotics can damage good microflora and often leave behind bacteria which can cause problems later on. If you're sick of being sick, try Supernatural Silver. Supernatural Silver, the number one choice of thousands for a safe and effective way to protect against the many diseases and illnesses that we are facing today. Go to supernaturalsilver.com, read our customer reviews, and see the life-changing results that people are having. That's supernaturalsilver.com. Supernaturalsilver.com. Use the promo code PROTECTED for 20% off your entire order. And like us on Facebook. Supernatural Silver.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, A Place for Mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.
back. You are listening to the Naseema Omer Show. You can listen to the archive podcast of the file by going to NaseemaOmer.com or going to GCNLive.com. That's Genesis Communication Network Live.com. We are taking questions today, so please call 866-582-9933. Now's your chance. Please call 866-582-9933 for any questions you have on today's subject to Pharmacist Ben Fuchs. We talked a little bit about electrolytes. Actually, Pharmacist Ben Fuchs was explaining that. And I want to let you know that we both are distributors of Youngevity, and they have one of the excellent products. And there are many excellent products. And is called Beyond Tangy Tangerine, BTT 2.0. That replenishes your body, gives it so much more than just electrolytes, minerals, vitamins. It's an amazing tasting powder that you can put in liquid of your choice. I prefer water, and sip on it all day. And in fact, if you call in with your question for Pharmacist Ben Fuchs today, he is going to give you a canister of Beyond Tangy Tangerine. So call us at 866-582-9933. You can also enjoy the show afterwards by going to my YouTube channel called The Naseema Omer Show. Pharmacist Ben, you talked a little bit about sodium bicarbonate and how the body generates some of that, and with pancreatic issues, etc. Could you elaborate a little bit more on that? And then, isn't that really the baking soda?
That's what sodium bicarbonate is. It's baking soda, and it's been used as medicine for decades, probably for 100 years or more. It's been used as medicine. Sodium bicarbonate is made in the pancreas, and next to oxygen, it's probably the most important way the blood stays alkaline. Sodium bicarbonate is also important sodium bicarb from the pancreas, in addition to being important for alkalinizing the blood, is also important for the digestive system. And we talked about this last time I was on the program. When we eat food, it goes into our stomach, and the stomach turns the food into, if we're healthy, the stomach turns the food into an acidic mass from hydrochloric acid in the stomach. And that acidic mass is called chyme, C-H-Y-M-E. It's like a soupy kind of mushy material. If you've ever thrown up, vomited and looked at your vomit, that's kind of what the chyme looks like, kind of a mushy mass of food. And that mushy mass of food is acidic, and when it drops into the intestine from the stomach, all of a sudden it gets hit with it's supposed to anyway, get hit with a big blast of pancreatic juices. And these pancreatic juices, which include sodium bicarbonate, are alkaline. And what's supposed to happen is the alkaline sodium bicarbonate hits the acid food and creates this fizzing effect. Do you ever do this experiment when you're in high school or in elementary school, where you mix acid and alkaline together and it makes this kind of reaction, right? Yeah. That's called an acid-base reaction, technically. And that's what's supposed to happen in the intestine when the food drops from the stomach. That fizzing reaction acts like a cleanser to liberate the fats and some of the other materials from the foods. It's like that you can actually clean grime off of dishes that way. You can put some vinegar in your dish if you have a real grimy kind of you bake a roast or whatever, and the fats are stuck to the pan. If you put vinegar or lemon juice in the pan and let it sit, and then drop some baking soda in there, some baking soda solution, you get that same fizzing effect, and it will make it easier to clean your pans. Well, that same reaction occurs in food as the food drops into the intestine from the stomach. Problem is, many people don't produce enough sodium bicarbonate. Many people have pancreatic health issues. And so what ends up happening is they don't digest their food as effectively. Additionally, if you have a pancreatic issue and you're not making sodium bicarbonate, it's going to be harder for the blood to become alkaline. So sodium bicarbonate supplements, or sodium bicarbonate taken supplementally, you can just get regular baking soda and do half a teaspoonful or a quarter teaspoonful in water once or twice a day. can be another effective strategy for alkalinizing the blood. And indeed, sodium bicarbonate therapy is kind of a tried and true medical therapy for alkalizing the blood, improving general health in the body, and improving digestive health specifically. There's a guy named Dr. Mark Circus, S-I-R-C-U-S, Mark Circus, who's written extensively about sodium bicarbonate.
Yes. That reminds me, Ben, thank you so much for explaining all that. And I want our audience and listeners to know that next week I'm interviewing a surprise guest, or precise, as my granddaughter would call it when she was very little. A surprise guest, and he's going to share his journey and how he survived by essentially including baking soda in his program. And he's very, very passionate about that. And so I want everybody to tune into next Saturday. It's a secret. It's a surprise. It's a surprise.
Okay.
It's a surprise.
Okay. There's a really important relationship, by the way, between carbon dioxide and baking soda, too. That's another thing that maybe your precise guest will talk about next week.
Next week, yeah. So, that's interesting, Ben, though, Pharmacist Ben. Quarter teaspoon or so of baking soda once or twice a day and helps supplement. So it's not going to give harmful effects or vice versa in balancing.
No. It's a little, you don't want to do too much of it. You get a lot of sodium that way, but I wouldn't worry about it. A quarter teaspoonful once or twice a day is not going to be a problem.
So essentially, the body knows best, right? If you give them the give it the supplement and the breathing.
To me, breathing is the best way, though, Naseema.
Yeah. So, breathing, deep breathing, give it a little bit of this. Yeah. And what are your thoughts on apple cider vinegar?
Love apple cider vinegar. Apple cider vinegar is one of my all-time favorite supplements. Number one, a couple reasons. If you get on the internet or you read books on apple cider vinegar, it seems like it's a panacea, like it's good for everything. It's good for diabetes, it's good for energy, it's good for the digestive system, it's got alkalinizing properties, so many reasons why it's helpful, and it seems almost like it's kind of silly, all the benefits that you get from apple cider vinegar, but as it turns out, acetic acid, which is the active ingredient in vinegar, the main active ingredient in vinegar, is a really, really interesting fatty acid that's involved in digestive health. And because of its relationship to digestive health and the health of the intestine, technically it's called a short-chain fatty acid, it's got multiple benefits, not just for the stomach, but also for the intestine and also for the blood and also for the brain and also for blood sugar. You've heard of the ketogenic diet, right?
Yes.
Well, there's an interesting, without getting into too much chemistry, there's an interesting relationship between ketones and acetic acid. And it turns out that acetic acid can help support the body's ability to work with these very powerful substances called ketones, which can have positive effects on the brain, and positive effects on blood sugar, positive effects on the heart as well. Then, apple cider vinegar can also provide acidity to the stomach if you're not making enough stomach acid. And by the way, not making enough stomach acid or deficiencies in stomach acid, which is a condition called hypochlorhydria, low stomach acid, or achlorhydria, no stomach acid, is much more common than too much acid, which is very ironic considering the best-selling drugs, or among the best-selling over-the-counter drugs, are antacids. It seems like everybody is obsessed with taking antacids because they think they're making too much acid, when ironically, most people aren't making enough stomach acid. It's very interesting. When I was working in nursing homes as a consulting pharmacist, I was always amazed by all the older folks that were on antacid drugs. It was like almost everybody was on antacid drugs. It's like people thought when they were in the nursing homes, the doctors and the patients, they thought that they were making too much acid. Even though we all know when we get older, we don't make too much of anything, let alone too much, making up too much acid. It turns out, as we get older, the exact opposite condition occurs, which is not making enough stomach acid, and using a little apple cider vinegar can be very helpful for that. So apple cider vinegar supports intestinal health, it supports digestive health, plus it's a great source of minerals and electrolytes, which can also have a positive effect on alkalinization as well. So apple cider vinegar is an all-time wonderful supplement. And then also, one more thing is if there weren't enough benefits, one more really cool benefit for apple cider vinegar is it activates your digestive enzymes. So for folks who are taking digestive enzymes, or if you just want your natural enzymes to work better, acidification of the digestive contents can switch on or ignite digestive enzymes, making them more effective. making them effective.
So, Ben, if someone is taking baking soda as a supplement, can they also take apple cider vinegar?
Sure. Heck yeah.
Okay.
Heck
Do they need to wait between?
You want to wait. Yes,
Yeah.
I was about to say. You want to wait a couple of hours after you eat a meal, or an hour and a half after you eat a meal, before you do your baking soda, because you don't want to alkalinize the contents of your food. You want the acid to be able to work on the food, and then you want the alkalinity to kick in maybe an hour and a half afterwards.
So, fascinating that the signaling of the body saying that your blood may be higher in towards the acidic side of the pH scale is a symptom. Is it, as you explained, cell death and other things, etc.? Yeah. It could be any disease. Any disease. If you're acidic,
you can rest assured there's something going wrong. Most significantly, it's cell death. This is really a big problem that we don't ever talk about in terms of how pathology and how disease shows up. When cells die, it's like, you ever read history books? I don't know if you ever follow medieval history or ancient history. I've always been interested in that, and I've always been interested in warfare, medieval warfare.
Okay.
And one of the things they used to do in the Middle Ages when they were fighting a war is they had these catapult devices that would throw rocks. You ever seen those little springs? Right?
Yes.
Well, in addition to rocks, they throw dead bodies into the castle.
Ew.
And the reason they put dead bodies into the water supply. And the reason is when a human body or any animal body dies, it releases its toxins, many of which are acidic. Well, the same thing happens when a cell dies. When a cell dies, it releases toxicity and acidity into the bloodstream. And this is one of the major reasons why we get diseased. Over the course of time, from lack of nutrition, lack of oxygen, accumulation of toxicity, cells die. In response to long-term chronic inflammation, cells die. And when they die, they release their acidity and they release their toxins into the blood. So acidity, in addition to being a measurement of a lack of oxygen, in addition to being a measurement of pancreatic issues or sodium bicarbonate issues, can also be a measurement of cellular death. And so what we want to understand is it's not the acid itself that's the problem, it's the cell death as well as the lack of oxygen, the pancreatic issues that are really at the root cause of the diseases, not the acidity itself, although that can contribute.
Makes perfect sense. And I hear that music again. Are you still loving that music, Ben?
I love that music.
Me too. It's by artist Lindsay Sterling. It's a violinist. She's a violinist and she tours all over with Celtic music and that flavor. Yeah, Celtic, how you say it, and we'll be right back.
Think about this. Your community's aging water infrastructure systems are very likely to be contaminated with heavy metals like lead, disinfection chemicals like ammonia, chlorine and chloramines, and pharmaceuticals like statins, pain meds, and antidepressants. And no, water treatment plants are not equipped to filter these pharmaceutical toxins out. Protect your family's water supply with the trusted Big Berkey water filter. New NSF EPA-certified lab tests show Big Berkey water filters remove chloramines, pharmaceuticals, BPA, pesticides, bacteria, and viruses, all forms of fluoride, and much more. Big Berkey water filters are the original and most trusted on the market, the gold standard in water purification, and our filters last for years at less than 2 cents per gallon. Big Berkey, the one powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get your Big Berkey today. Call 1-877-99-BERKEY or click BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey water filters, for the love of clean water.
Do you have dry hands or itchy, peeling skin? Are your cracked feet in need of a makeover for sandal season? Hi, my name is Diane Cook, the creator of B-Spa Hand and Foot Cream. B-Spa is all natural, 16% beeswax, marigold extract, and other essential oils and nutrients. B-Spa is great for exceptionally dry hands and feet, but B-Spa can be used anywhere on the body. I am sure you will see a difference overnight. B-Spa is the only cream you will ever need. For convenient 2.5-ounce size jar, travels nicely and a little goes a long way. B-Spa Hand and Foot Cream costs $29.99. Use promotion code 101 for free shipping. Order B-Spa Hand and Foot Cream today at BeSpa.com. That's BeESPA.com. That's BeESPA.com.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-403-4885. That's 1-800-403-4885. 1-800-403-4885. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop. You save. Get full details in the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors not available in all states.
My dad was 59 when he collapsed from a heart attack late last year. Just this past August was when we spread his ashes on the St. Croix River. I loved my dad, but boy was he stubborn. He hadn't been to the doctor in over 25 years. His excuse? He simply couldn't afford it. He wasn't a rich man by any means. At less than $107 per month, LibertyOnCall.org would have been the perfect alternative for my father. Don't wait. Go to LibertyOnCall.org right now, for not just your sake, but for the sake of your loved ones. Again, that's LibertyOnCall.org.
My name is Don Wiskin. In 1994, I lost my 62-year-old father to complications of bypass surgery. In 1977, my 44-year-old brother was found dead in his apartment. He suffered a heart attack. In January of 98, my mother had a stroke and passed away in her bed. 21 days later, my 53-year-old brother passed away on his arrival to the hospital. He waited too long. In June that same year, I almost joined them at 42. What did I do? I took a 7-herb formula I now call Extendivite, made from garlic, cayenne, bilberry, ginkgo biloba, hawthorn, milk thistle, and valerian. Based on German studies of natural medicine, Extendivite is designed to clear blocked arteries, clean the toxins from your blood, and improve your immune system. To get your Extendivite, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822, or visit our website, heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendivite.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
Welcome back, and thank you, listeners, for tuning in and listening to another episode of my show, the Naseema Omer Show. Want to remind you and everybody that you can listen to archive files by going to NaseemaOmer.com or GCNlive.com. Drop me a line, send me your feedback, send me a question, call me, leave me a voice message if you don't reach me with your phone number, etc., and I will get back to you. So for questions after the show, you can call 877-279-9422. That's 877-279-9422. If you didn't have something to write with, that's okay. Just tune in to GCNlive.com. Find my show, The Naseema Omer Show, and you have all the information there, plus the link to my Facebook and website. Also, you can listen to me and the file on YouTube, the YouTube channel, The Naseema Omer Show. This is the last section, so to say. In the radio world, it's called segment. Last segment of today's show on pH levels in the body. Stay tuned. Again, next Saturday, I have a very special guest, and we will find out his thoughts, his journey, and how he survived his disease and illnesses in his body and the importance of the common baking soda and its role and his books that he has authored. Pharmacist Ben, tell me, glycolic acid, I hear is awesome for the skin. In fact, I've had it put on my skin many, many times. Tell me more.
Do you do skin peels?
I do.
How often do you get them done?
About once a month.
Okay. Well, I started working with glycolic acid back in the late 1980s, early 1990s. Nobody knew about it, but I had a compounding pharmacy, and I was specializing in skincare, and I had a doctor tell me about it, and he'd been using it, and he wanted to know if I could make him glycolic acid products. And I remember working with it and filling prescriptions for it. I remember buying a 55-gallon drum of the stuff for $400 back in 1989, 1990. Nobody had heard of it, and then all of a sudden it became big news.
So why is acid good for your skin?
Great question, because acid is a problem inside the body. Remember, we said acid has a dynamic nature. It's highly electrical. Acidity is highly electrical. And inside the body, you want to have a sort of negative energy because you want the inside part of the body, the inside compartments of the body to be sucking energy up. On the other hand, on the skin, you want to have a repelling effect. The skin is a defensive system, partially a defensive system, and it's designed to repel bacteria and repel offending agents. So nature has set up a system where the skin will actually have a low pH. We actually secrete acids on the surface of our skin, fatty acids on the surface of our skin, and these fatty acids act to keep the pH of the skin acid. So acidic, while the inside of the body is alkaline, pH 7.38 or so in the blood, exactly, on the skin the pH is right around 4.5 to 5.5. It's slightly acidic. What's even more important is when we're sick, when we have a skin sickness like psoriasis or eczema or acne, typically our skin will be more alkaline. And not only that, but many skincare products, lotions and creams, and especially soaps and cleansers tend to be alkalinizing on the skin. They tend to have a pH raising effect on the skin. On the other hand, when the skin is acidic, not only is it healthier, but if you can drop the acid level even lower than the skin's normal acid level, so if the skin is normally a pH of 4.5 or 5.5, if you can get the skin pH down to around 3.0 or even 2.8 or so by using, like you say, glycolic acid or lactic acid or lemon juice or vinegar or anything acidic, you'll actually stimulate the skin to grow more skin cells, to grow more collagen and elastin and high hyaluronic acid and all the good stuff. So making your skin more acidic periodically by using glycolic acid and lactic acid
and those
stimulating healthy effect on the skin.
And those are applied just for short periods of time, just a couple of minutes, and then washed off.
Exactly. And you can check out my skin health products, by the way, at truthtreatments.com.
Truthtreatments.com. Ben's formulated skin products. Thank you for listening, everybody, and thank you, Pharmacist Ben.
All right. Take care, Naseema.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the Internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pileski of the Pileski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.